Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
So hello and welcome to the CWC Podcast. I'm your host, David Selby, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Justin Reed and Andy Horton. It is our 25th show, and we could not celebrate that any better than to have Whiskey Ridge and the whole crew as our special guests today. So a huge welcome to Todd and Cindy Wheeler and Carl Schultz, racetrack owners on the Whiskey Ridge Ranch, and also owners of the first liquor store, or one of the first liquor stores in Hot Springs County, Twisted Spur Liquor. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we're doing things a little bit different today. You guys brought in the technician, Justin Reed. He got you set up. Everybody's got microphones. Where are you guys at today?
Sitting on the back porch next to the pool with a fire.
With a big fire. And you guys, you just went to town on the set decoration here. Is this just how it looks out there all the time, or was this just for the show today?
We make it look beautiful all the time.
It's every day.
Lemonade on Saturdays.
Homemade lemonade on Saturdays, by the way.
Awesome.
So tell me a little bit about, you guys have decked out for Christmas. We just got past Thanksgiving. We're recording on Cyber Monday right now. For those of you that didn't know, we think everything should be exceptionally good on Cyber Monday. But how was Thanksgiving in Arkansas? Did you guys do anything special?
It was a beautiful day. Nice weather, just a little cooler. And we were very pleased with the Thanksgiving day. Beautiful sunshine. It was great. Lots of good family and friends.
That's awesome. And I know you say family. I know, Carl, you and Cindy are actually siblings, right?
Yep. She's my older sister.
I am not. He is older than me. He's always been older than me.
He's always been older. Wow.
Always. Yeah.
Well, good. I would have guessed the same. And I just want to say, Carl, I've been wanting to let you know for a while now that the interview we did at Twisted Spur for this year's video was fantastic. You did a wonderful interview. And I've been curious to know if you've been able to even walk into Walmart without just getting bombarded for signatures or what.
Right.
He doesn't go to Walmart.
I'm not a shopper. Everything. I'm on the Cyber Monday shopper.
The elf goes to Walmart.
Yeah, there's an elf that we have that we send to Walmart.
Yep.
You guys have an elf? Oh my goodness, there.
Right there.
Yeah, we can't leave Marty out.
Marty the Elf. Look at him. He's like, okay, they're paying me. What should I do back here? The fire looks pretty good. I'll just get down here and poke it a few times. We're just going to narrate what the elf's doing back there. I'm excited to see what else happens. Hey, Marty, don't be afraid to pop in and have your moment, okay?
So Marty's the one that has the mercantile over there with the T-shirts and the sweatshirts like you got on and the cups, and that's where we have the breakfast at. And he does all the ordering and everything. So, yeah, Marty's that guy.
You know, it's interesting when you look at the dynamics of the team. Everybody has a role, and everybody is very well versed in their role. And that's what makes this such a good event for us, and continuation of having it is because this family, but a lot of times family doesn't work as well together as this family does. So we're very, very fortunate.
And I'm in charge of maintenance, and that's all I do.
And trash cleanup.
And trash cleanup. I'm a trash guy.
Yeah, well,
He's trashy all the time, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't comment on that. We'll let your family there take care of that.
Kind.
So
it's the season of giving.
So before we go any further, I want to make sure that everybody that's listening understands the event that we are talking about, the event that you guys host. So in a nutshell, can you guys give me some insight on what the Whiskey Ridge Chuckwagon races are, when it is, and just give me some of that insight.
Cindy will be happy to do that.
So it's over Memorial Day weekend, starts on a Tuesday, gates open, and it goes through Sunday. People leave on Monday. We've had it over Memorial Day for the last 3 years. Before that, we had it for 4 years. Yeah. And it was earlier in May. So we started doing that because of our community We had some community leaders reach out. We're in a pretty small community. We're outside of the city. And the only big festival or event that you might say was the Acme Brick Festival, and they've stopped doing that. So Carl and I grew up in this area, and so it really means a lot to us to give back for that.
And what she meant to say is we're still growing up, and we're going to do it even better in our next generation.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be incredible when that place is run by real live adults one of these days.
So true. Comes
So, speaking of great behavioral decisions, I know you guys added a liquor store to the ranch down there recently, and I'd love to get a little bit more kind of the background on how that happened. I know when we interviewed Carl down there, he gave some insight, but how did that all come to be? And I know it's on the edge of your ranch, so is it technically on the ranch, or is that just kind of a separate property? And you knew that would be a good spot. What was some kind of the thinking behind all of that?
Well, the liquor license in Hot Spring County was a lottery, so you had to submit your applications for a specific address, and you had to be, there were certain rules that went along with it. We actually submitted two. The Twisted Spur location is the one that got picked. The other one was we had in the lottery was there at the Mercantile, and we were very hopeful that we would get one of the two and be able to move forward, because our county, my entire life, has been dry. And people had to drive for long distances to get to places on winding roads that weren't safe. And that was the biggest push for our county, is for us to provide safety for those who do need a place to grab a drink here and there.
That's awesome.
Cheers.
And yeah. And so now you guys are drinking all of your alcohol at cost. That's fantastic.
It saves us gas money.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we
I'm
are
sure
talking about Carl and Cindy. Nothing's at cost. Even we have to pay premiums when we go and purchase. So, I guess it's all relevant.
That's awesome. And so in Hot Springs County, how many different locations are there for liquor stores right now, and how much is that changing in the next couple of years?
There's only 3 that are active, and that will be the only 3 that are here, unless the population changes by a significant amount.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. And are people are driving a little ways to come and get their alcohol there, I would assume then?
They're driving a little ways less than the distance they were driving in order to get it, unless they were at a bootlegger, and we don't condone that in our county.
Right.
Even though we know a few.
We know a whole bunch of them. Some of them are our friends at the Chuckwagon races.
That's right. No, so crazy enough, year before last is when the drawing was, and it was during the Chuckwagon races, our event, which was on the Thursday. And so we had to go up to Little Rock and do the drawing. And I got number 3, I think it was, and Carl got number 9. So I beat him again.
Yeah, that's her claim to fame, trying to beat me.
I guess there's
But I'm going to be racing this next year, so I just got a special surprise for everybody
gosh.
that nobody knows yet.
He thinks he's going to be racing Big Horse Rubber Tire, but he's I don't know.
He's always trying to be the big brother, right?
Yeah, because he is the big brother.
Yes.
the good example.
Older, much older, bigger brother.
Much older.
Yeah.
I understand that. I am the oldest of 3 boys, but I am also the middle child. But I've got 2 older sisters, so I understand the sibling dynamic. I know how it goes.
Yeah, so you got the same problem he does then, because
I'm a middle child.
Okay. Is it just 3 in yours?
Yes.
In your family?
That was enough.
Okay.
The world couldn't handle 4.
Well, that's where we're at too. We're cutting it off at 3. That's how Miranda and I feel.
Congratulations, by the way.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, we just found out the other day that we're expecting on July 4th. So
nice.
Fireworks, man.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited about that. I hope it happens. I'm a July 12th guy, so I've always kind of associated the 4th of July with my birthday, and was always asking for that birthday money a little bit early, because that's the best time of year in my opinion. But I know it's hot, but I love the 4th of July.
Absolutely.
So I want to keep moving here with you guys. I want to talk a little bit about 2024 real quick before we kind of jump forward into the future of everything going on at Whiskey Ridge. And I'm excited that Carl's going to come and race next year, and then we're going to get to see that, and we're going to get to hear that. We'll probably put a mic and a GoPro on that wagon to make sure that we don't miss a frame of the action. But
Well, one
But I
thing
know
you're going to
it's-
have to be very certain on, David, when you do that, in your podcast, you talk about having to edit out all the nasty language that Justin uses and whatnot, profanity and such. You're going to have to make sure you have no sound when Carl's is mic'd up on that wagon, because I can promise you it's going to be pretty vulgar and the profanity is going to be at extreme levels. That's for
What
sure.
I will assure you of is that I will be very quiet, and the only thing that everybody else is going to hear is the chains and the dust going behind me, because everybody's going to be in the back.
Whatever.
That's
And the
right.
screaming and the crying and
Yeah.
everything else.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Carl, I always say fake it till you make it, man. So
Hey, I'm
that's
going
great.
to. I got this.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, maybe we can dub it over later, and we could let Todd do your voiceover. Oh, wow.
Oh, he would love to do
Oh,
that.
he'd love
That would be
to.
fantastic.
Todd's the best voiceover ever.
Well, I think that would be a good time, and I do want to catch some insight here from a couple of racers that are sitting at the table. And so, Cindy and Todd, I know you guys have both raced. I know, Cindy, you've been long time cook with Full Throttle Loca. I know you guys with the buckboard team had some success at Clinton and throughout the whole race year. So I'm going to go ladies first here. So, Cindy, tell me about what you've been doing in the racing realm and how things went going towards national championships this year and how it was at Clinton.
So, I want to go back and start a little bit. Carl and I have went to Clinton for
30 plus years now.
Yeah, well, a longer. Well, and I think you've got me with my big girl Ruth, my big mule, a few times before. But we used to sit up there on the bluff and we'd go, man, look at those crazy people down there. They've got all kinds of legs. I mean, the ponies look like centipedes, and we'd never do that. And then Jana approached me about 4 years ago and said, hey, you want to cook for me in the buckboard? And I'm like, well, I just broke my leg, but I think it's a great idea. So
Yeah, right.
that's what I said. I said, okay. And my husband, Todd, goes, you can't do that. I think I'm going to. So that's what we've been doing.
You don't ever tell Cindy no, right? You
Yeah.
can't do anything because she's going to prove you wrong no matter what it takes.
Yeah. So we tried to rookie in that year that it was so rainy there, and it was on half of the track for the rookie race, and we didn't get caught. And so we kept on trying, and we finally got in 2 years ago, I think it was. And then this year we got in the runoff, which was so exciting. And anyways, we know a lot of the people that race with us, so we're good friends. So it's a great time as far as competition goes. Nobody wants to hurt anybody, but they also know once that gun goes off, it's on. So if I could have cut those nose hairs off Brad House's ponies this year, I would have.
Oh, man.
No, I'm just kidding. Brad's a good friend, and Jason that cooked for him is a good friend of ours as well. And I just think it was a really cool experience to be involved with that and on that and actually have the race off. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of adrenaline, and I think maybe next year might be ours. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Good
guys
luck.
certainly put in the work, and that's hats off to you and Jana Purcell. I mean,
Oh, let's talk about Matt. Hats off to him,
Oh,
too, for all he
goodness
does for that
gracious.
race team.
you're
Yeah,
exactly right.
he
I mean, the hours and the weeks and the days and the years that they've spent conditioning those ponies, and the time that Jana spent conditioning Cindy and Matt to take care of them. It's remarkable. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of work.
Matt's
Yeah, I
a
know.
good guy is all I'm saying.
Matt's a great guy. Jana's a wonderful young lady, too.
That's my partner.
It's like the 1 minute that we get to see Cindy just being serious at any of these Chuckwagon racing events is when she's getting in the back of that wagon and going around the track. But man, yeah,
Oh,
you guys
she's serious
burned-
when she's
burned
trying
it
to
up.
get in her camper at night, too.
Yeah.
David's
Yeah, well,
seen that stuff
there's-
before.
There is footage that remains on the cutting room floor after some of these events for good reason.
That's probably where it needs to remain.
Yep. But that's,
Oh,
about
living,
vanity.
baby.
hey, but in all seriousness, you guys have really burned up the track this year doing your buckboard thing, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. And the news is not over as far as, or I guess the entertainment part of that, because we're working on the editing on this second season of the Great Wagon Race, and that really does feature Full Throttle Loca, and it features the buckboard division, and it features Brad House, and it features those race teams that were really competitive this year. And I think people are going to really like that, and reliving that is pretty fun. And one thing you don't see when you're up on the hill at Clinton, or when you're a spectator on the edge of the racetrack, is you don't really see what's going on in the minds of the racers, and what it's like at the starting line, and what it's like after the matter when you talk about it. And that's one thing I love about that documentary series is, we really have honed in on the drivers for these first couple seasons here, and just getting to hear firsthand how Jana was feeling, and really is the best coverage of any time I've ever done any Chuckwagon events, because I kind of knew we were doing buckboard this year. And so I was watching Jana and Brad go at it week after week. And I was getting those interviews. And so we have all that stuff, unlike in season 1, where we really just focused on that week at Clinton. And so I'm excited for everybody to see kind of how we covered this one. We did some things better. We did some things maybe not quite as well as season 1, but it'll be cool to see you guys full throttle. And I think people will be rooting for you naturally, because I think it's natural that people root for, the underdog or the newcomer or whatever. And, you just naturally you always want to see that underdog beat the top dog, and so that's like, it almost goes against Brad House a little bit, because he's been winning it, which there's so much to say good about him being able to get on top of the mountain and hold his own. But yeah, it's going to be a cool story for people to see. So I'm excited for you guys to kind of get to see that and tear it apart and give me a bunch of shit about it. So
heck yeah,
it'll be good.
I'm ready.
Well, yeah. So I do want to just jump in real quick. So how did you feel, finishing that weekend and knowing that you guys had lost by just a nose? What was it like down there on the field? How were you guys feeling? Like, did you feel like you had lost the race when you were at the finish line, or when did you? How'd that all play out for you?
No, I did not feel like I had lost. No, I mean, there's so much work that Jana and I both, and Jana more so than anything. I mean, she puts all the work in on the ponies. We have the massage therapist come over. We have their teeth done. We have
the swimming lessons.
We have the chiropractor come over. We are putting in a swimming thing here. We just got a walker put in. I mean, we're trying to do what you got to do. So, I didn't feel let down at all. Like, again, it took us a few years to get in there as far as rookieing in at Clinton, and we made it. And then we were in the runoffs, and it was such an adrenaline rush. Again, I just think it was a great experience. And, we'll be back there again next year. Once you rookie in, that year that you rookie in, it's 4 days of racing, and you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. And this year we actually raced it 4 times again as well, and Sunday it was a little bit rainy, so the races were delayed. And then in the runoff, we were like, what do? We don't know. When do you go out? And the preparation for that was a little mind-boggling and everything. But, I mean, we're going to be there next year, whether we win or whether we don't. We're just going to continue to do it until I hopefully not break another leg.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. So, was it a letdown? Heck yeah. Everybody wants that buckle at Clinton. But was it a great experience? Absolutely, 100%. Do it again every day.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I love your perspective on that. And Todd, you should maybe consider reverse psychology, at some point, where you say, yeah, do it. And well, it's probably still
that's going to work out for you.
Yeah. I've tried that as well, David. There's no change in Cindy's mind once she's got it set on whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I also am married to a beautiful blonde, and I fully understand how you feel, Todd. So, Todd, let's go ahead and jump in a little bit. So I know you kind of decided you were going to go ahead and get back in the wagon this year, and that was kind of leading up to Clinton, right? That you decided to do that.
Yeah, it was pretty mid-season, I guess it was. I had a few health issues I was dealing with, and I was uncertain. And then Clint asked me, he said, "Hey, would you like to get back in the wagon? I'd really like for you to cook." And it didn't take much convincing. I think we were down at one other race, and we were talking, and here we go. And I'm there. If you need me, I'd love to do it. Clint, much like Janice, puts in a tremendous amount of work, works those animals and had them in top-notch shape. He had to go out and get a new horse this year and spend a lot of time and money training. Unfortunately, we go on our first race there at Clinton this year. We started off the line. We had a little bit of a bobble with the start, so we were delayed. And then once the gun did fire, we took off. Well, the team that was next to us on the left completely balked. And by the time we come around the barrel, they took off and were right in our lane. And we had a terrible accident that hurt our Clint's number one horse there that was on the right side of the wagon and ran into the wheel of the other wagon. So day one, we came in feeling pretty darn good. Had a great set of horses, well conditioned. Injured him, and we pulled out that horse that day. There's no reason to hurt him any worse than what he was. And we didn't have a backup. So Clint brought one of his roping horses that he had there with him, spent that afternoon and evening. Matter of fact, Mark Bailey helped him out and got him hooked up, and we went out and raced the next day. So when we came in Saturday and Sunday, we were running with a seasoned horse and a roping horse, and so it just goes back to also saying how much time these people spend working these animals and the care that they take with these animals too, to show what you can do if you've got a good animal that's in good condition. So we didn't win. Obviously we didn't, we had a tough race. Our outrider, Janice Sumler, who I'll tell you, bless her heart, she had a terrible accident not very long ago at all and broke her back and neck. And, we just had a benefit barrel race for her, but Janice was a trooper. I tell you, she really worked the horse on the outriding horse to make sure to have it in as best shape it could be as well, to get out and catch us. And the last race we ran, she caught us, and I missed the box at the line. So, what a huge letdown that was, to my teammates that have put in so much time, and I missed the box. But again, I really appreciate Clint and Derek Cans and the whole Derek Cans family. I mean, just fantastic group of people, and to be able to be a part of that is something really special.
Yeah,
but
man.
Also adds to that's what we're doing, here at the ranch, and putting on the race that we put on and continue to put on, because what we've learned and what we've grown into is that it's not just our family, it's a whole Chuckwagon family that now we're a part of. That's right. It's something you just can't explain to somebody else unless you're a part of it.
Yeah.
And David, if we can go back just a second, talking about how we got involved in this, and Todd brought it up, but Mark Bailey does train a lot of horses that run out there on that track. He and Jennifer, and you got to throw in Linda in there too, because she's been a trooper all along too. But they are.
Hey, congratulations to Linda Bailey, by the way.
Do what?
Congratulations to Linda Bailey. Pretty sure that she just got engaged.
Yes,
she did.
To Trip Mobley.
She did. She's a good girl. But they've trained a lot of the horses out there on the track, and without them asking us if we wanted to get involved in this Chuckwagon racing here at the house, we wouldn't have been involved in it at that point.
And let me go ahead and throw this in. So, Linda and Andy's dad were in the Snowy River race one year, and they tied.
Yes.
And the horse that Linda was riding, which his name's Marty, is the horse that we use as outriding. So Linda trained Marty. She worked Marty. And then she went off to college to be a psychologist or something like that. Anyways. And so she stopped riding Marty. And so that's where Jana and I started using him as an outriding horse, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. A great deal to the Baileys again.
For that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of these days we'll have to get the Baileys on the show. There's a lot of cowboy stuff, cowgirl stuff that they do, and also, sending our best to Janice, because I know I saw that on the social media as well. So sending our best to her, that she's recovering, that she has a full recovery. I have no doubt that cowgirl will get back on the horse at some point, and she'll be doing what she does, what she loves to do. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about your event. It's one of those rare 3-day weekends of the year. It's Memorial Day weekend. And I know that on that weekend every year, there's another competing event. I know that's something that happens because, I mean, how many 3-day weekends do you get? For anybody that says, why do they have that race on the same weekend, or why do they have theirs at the same time as another one? How do you guys typically respond to that?
Well, we get a lot of messages, especially the first year that we changed our date. One, we're associations. So, you have association races and you have outlaw races. Two different beasts, shall you say. We're like 4 hours, 3.5 hours from where the other one was. And again, I'll go back to our community and that there's really not much going on here. And so when our community leaders reached out to us and were like, hey, can y'all do something for Memorial Day? And we're like, well, we'll give it a shot. And then it was voted in for the association. We support the Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing Association. That's the reason we got into it. They're the ones who sort of had our back. And we're pretty solid people when it comes to that type of support. So that's the reason that we do it. When we get those messages on Facebook or a text message or a phone call and stuff, we're like, hey, everybody has a choice in life. And if you're closer there, then by all means go. It's a great experience. If you're closer to us and you want to come to us, come on to us. We've been to the other one before and we've raced there. So no big deal. And then that's when we started having ours here. And so that's the reason that Todd and I race here. I don't know if it's a difference on being association related or outlaw related, but we wish the best to everyone. I know there's been a few years where they've had rain and then we didn't. And like last year we were bombarded with rain, which made great pictures. And I don't recall what their weather was. But it's really about our community.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
certainly not a competition in any
not at all.
stretch of the imagination.
We're very
Yeah,
grateful and honored for our community to be involved in this and have something to do on Memorial Day weekend, of which a lot of people don't in this area. So it's like Todd said, it's not a competition. It's just something that we offer in this part of the state. The Arkansas Chuckwagons Racers Association are the one that voted in this being a race time for us. It wasn't just our decision to throw that out there. And then when our community came in behind us, and for goodness sakes, if it wasn't for our sponsors, we certainly could not put on something like this because it is very, very expensive to put on a show like we have to put on out here. And we do it for our community and for the people that race.
Well,
you guys,
another component to that, Carl, talking about the community, think about the fire department, the rural fire department, just sitting right up here between us and Interstate 30. That is the busiest rural fire department in Hot Spring County, but yet it has the fewest number of taxpayers in its area to support it. And fortunately, this event has helped support that fire department in pretty big ways. Yeah. So, the helipad that's out there now, again, part of this race helped pay for the extraction tools that they use and unfortunately,
state and everywhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just like
they wouldn't have had them.
2 months ago, Carl and I's mom got in a car accident less than 5 minutes away from the house. And the fire department was the first ones to respond. Our mom and stepdad had went off the road. Sun was in their eyes, went through some pine trees, and they had to use some of the tools that we had actually raised money to buy for them. To extract my mom out of the car and then use the helipad because she had to be airlifted. So, pretty cool situation there.
So yeah, it's not just
and she's fine now. She just a little crazy, but she's fine.
she's kind of like Cindy, or Cindy's kind of like her, I should say. But
they're sisters.
But I-30, this stretch that this rural fire department controls up and through here and helps protect, is the busiest stretch anywhere in the county as well. So I mean, it's big, it's meaningful.
Yeah. Well, I know that you guys have an impactful event, and I know you guys, you don't just have it on Memorial Day weekend to get the extra day. I know you guys full on celebrate Memorial Day weekend, and Cowboy Sounds, help me out here. Cowboy Sounds. Stephen Boyd. He's a big part of making sure that your opening ceremony really makes a big nod to those who serve, and you guys really do go all out for Memorial Day weekend. So talk a little bit about that, and I know that you guys have you guys make donations. You have proceeds that go towards veterans. talk a little bit about that and how that's important to you guys' event.
Yeah, so I'll start out, and then Carl and Cindy can jump in. Stephen Boyd has absolutely taken ownership in our race, and couldn't be more grateful for what he does in that, because the race isn't even over. And I reflect back to this year, last day of the award ceremony, he said, "Hey, I got a great idea for next year." So Stephen's always thinking of what he can do to help support veterans and what we can do to help bring our community, the people that have served, also in during that event. It's a fantastic job he does for us here. And again, thank you so much, Stephen, for all you do. And unfortunately, Stephen's had some health issues, and he's on the mend now. So we're super glad to hear that, and super excited to have him back. We Are the 22 was the event this year that was sponsored. And Cindy, you can talk a little bit more about that, or Carl one.
Cindy will be happy to.
So each year we've selected a veterans organization to donate some of the proceeds to, even though most of the time we don't have proceeds.
We end up paying for it out of our own pockets,
But
because
that's
we were
fine.
committed to it.
That's fine. So We Are the 22 is based out of Arkansas. It's a suicide prevention hotline, and they actually take calls out of, all of the United States. But 22 is, 22 veterans on average take their lives through suicide every day. And without that, then we wouldn't even be racing. So now it's going to get me emotional. But we have, and then also we have some people that we know, like the guy who, for the alcohol stuff for Hot Spring County.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I know you're talking
Yeah.
about.
But anyways, his son's part of the We Are the 22. He was the one who even started the idea of bringing Hot Spring County wet. So we donated to them this year, and I think we'll continue that partnership. Prior to that, we did like Mains with Miracles. They were out of Russellville. And they originally started by doing hippotherapy, I may be pronouncing that incorrectly, to where they work with veterans on with horses. The following year, we did
Service Dogs of Distinction.
And I forget where they're located out of, but what they do is they train dogs for veterans, and it's no charge to the veterans. And then this year is when we started with the We Are the 22, and I think we'll stick with them.
The person that Cindy was trying to relate to is also the person that headed off the drive to get Hot Spring County wet. His name is Paul Hellberg.
Yeah.
And he said in many, many meetings that that was his goal, is to get us wet before he died. And his son is part of the
We Are the 22.
That's awesome. I think whenever you look at these different events, I mean, there's over a dozen Chuckwagon races around the Midwest and the Mid-South now. And I feel like after going to almost all these races now over the last couple of years, one strong correlation that I see amongst the events that are doing well, or the events that I just know are going to keep doing well, is that there's purpose behind them, and that there's some kind of, that there is that further cause. And I think you guys are doing a great job with that. I love that. And I guess to kind of reiterate, or to talk about Memorial Day weekend being a 3-day weekend, I love that you guys have it on Memorial Day weekend, because I've been to a lot of these races that, there is only a 2-day weekend there. And it really affects that second day of the races. A lot of the people, if I'm driving, if I'm staying in a hotel and I'm driving in for Sunday morning to, catch that second day of races, I'm just driving past a whole bunch of trailers that are headed out, because everybody's got to drive all the way home. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's great that a great event has that weekend locked down. I commend you guys for having that weekend for a lot of reasons. I think that it's a huge benefit to your event. Same thing with, Clinton, and you just see how much that helps on that Sunday, to know that people don't have the pressure of getting back to work on Monday. It makes a massive effect on the event, and especially, from a business standpoint, I don't know why you wouldn't want to have that weekend. So, no, I just think you guys are doing a great job. And, having been there for the second time this year, I think the Whiskey Ridge races grew, even despite having really, really bad weather, I guess you would say, all things.
It's beautiful weather.
It was beautiful, rainy weather. I mean, there was a
Little
lot.
mud dance. That's right.
And I know you guys have had tough weather there before, but I mean, this year it rained like crazy. And showing up, it might have been Saturday morning, I think. It was like stuff was strewn everywhere. I mean, it was tough. And
That's why I'm in charge of maintenance.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it was so crazy. So, was it Thursday night? So we rent these tents, the like party tents that people can sit under if they've never come to the event before, because that's been one of our struggles is actually getting the word out for people even to know about Chuckwagon racing. Especially our type of Chuckwagon race. And if they know about it, they're usually comparing it to Calgary or things like that. That's a completely different sport as far as your outrider, as far as your cooks, as far as anything like that goes. The way you set up your animals, whether it be, well, all they use is horses, I think. But anyways, we had quite a few bad nights of weather, and we have this ridge, what you might say, or sort of a bowl for a racetrack. And that wind came up, and I think it was Thursday night that it even broke these welds on these rented like festival tents and blew a trailer or a camper off of its axles. So needless to say, it was a little trying. Broke the top of our stage. So Todd had to be pretty inventive on that. I think Carl was, in maintenance, so he was part of that as well.
Yeah, great
but anyways,
janitorial
we
work.
made it work.
Right.
Well, I did want to say that despite the weather, going from 23 to 24, you guys probably have a better idea of what your numbers were overall. But to me, it passed the eyeball test of that place was popping. Compared to 23 going to 24, I felt like the event had grown. I felt like the atmosphere was even better. It just looked like you guys were still making strides going in the right direction. So, I mean, how did you guys feel about that?
We were very, very blessed. And every year we've been able to grow attendance and spectators. As Cindy said, getting that message out so that people are more aware of what Chuckwagon racing is has been one of our goals as well. We've put a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of nights when I would go to bed, Cindy would still be up on that computer trying to generate new creative ways to get people in tune with what's going on and making sure that message is spread broadly out. And not only just here in this area, but and most importantly here in this area, but what we're seeing is that that's growing and spreading further and further. From people coming from California to our race this year was pretty shocking for us, to say the least.
Nice.
But we have just been extremely fortunate and extremely blessed in that.
Go ahead, Carl.
I don't know what else to say about all that,
Well,
except for it does take a lot of social media, which I'm not a big fan of, but that's the way to get it out there. And our community, our supporters are the ones that really get excited about that. I will say too that, one of the other ways we started growing the population here at the ranch for people to come out was some of our trail rides, of which Reverend Bobby Canada started that with us. And that became a big issue because there were so many people that we couldn't even take care of them. But that group is the group that comes to spectate with us. And we've got to say kudos to Bobby for that, as well as Mike Woolley, who is the actual Reverend, and Philip Clardy, who helps out a great deal with that stuff too.
100%. And so last year we added some new RV and water hookups over just right past the liquor store. And we opened up a few more trails. I think this year we'll probably have to take some more equipment and get some more trails wider for the larger wagons to come. We were pretty shocked at the amount of the large wagons that came last year, which is, awesome. But yeah, it's just, you see what you need and you just try to make that happen for next year.
Yeah, and we've been very fortunate. Every year we've continued to make improvements, and whatever it is, whether it's trails, additional trails, hookups. This year we've got the new announcer stand as well, so that we've got better sound, and you can hear it broadly across the entire track. New sound system as well. So there's a lot of things that we continue to put back in, to reinvest in, to make it bigger and better for next year and every year thereafter.
Yeah. And it's not really a reinvestment. It's just an investment.
Right. But I
Yeah,
would say,
no
and to follow up all that about our race, is that if it hadn't been for the graciousness of Dan, Peggy, and Dapple Oaf, for them opening up their place and showing us the example that we need to follow, then we wouldn't be doing it.
100%.
Yeah, there's a nice community of people for sure that that you can always kind of dip into, those that have been doing it for a long time. And I know people can learn from you guys too, because you guys are veterans now as well.
What?
Woo, especially at my age.
So, what do you think is the best change that you've made over the years to improve the event?
I would start off and say, as a racer, moving the track from where it was to where it is today.
Okay.
I raced that track when it was on the other side of the road. You could see really, really well over there, but as a racer, I just didn't like it as well. And what I know now is on the side that it's on, it's big, it's open. The turns are pretty wide turns, and from a safety perspective, it's certainly
Correct.
much better. And everybody can see sitting on the side of the hillside as well. So that's my opinion of number one. But Carl,
That idea of changing the racetrack to the other side actually is goes to Mr. Kyle Sumler. He, his chest is always poked out, and he wants to be somebody. But that was actually his idea. Then we had to do a lot of infrastructure underground to get rid of all the water, so we would not have what we had this past year at any given time, because there was a lot of water that stood on the ground down there year round.
but it was still a very hard, safe footing for the horses and for the racers to be racing on, even though we had 6-8 inches of water in some places.
Correct, but the water filters that we put in down there were just a nightmare to try to figure out if it was going to work right or not.
Yeah. And so talking about that, what we've seen is during the races, as far as the racers go, the setup, they'll set up on one side of that track with their vehicles and stuff. So this year we'll also be putting in some tie rails. Last year, we made the designated area where the racers can set up and wait for the races on Saturday and Sunday. And this year we saw that the tie rails, which, Brad House again, that was his idea last year, like a week before.
The
and we're
national
like,
champion, Brad House?
The national
Okay,
championship,
sure.
Brad
Buckboard
House,
racer.
full house. That's right. But that's okay.
Not full throttle, but Brad House.
Whatever.
Right.
But
Oh,
anyways,
my
no,
gosh.
he's like, hey, I know it's a late idea, but can y'all put in some tie rails? And we're like, oh, shit, crap, I don't know. Maybe so. And so this year we're doing it.
Yeah, you'll have to edit out
Okay.
that profanity from Cindy. Sometimes she gets a little excited and, kind of rolls away.
Protective.
Oh my goodness, yeah, but not me, never. Yeah. So aside from those rails, like, what are some of the other changes that you're thinking about for next year?
Well, it was another suggestion because of all the moisture that we had this past year, and all the ruts and the stuck vehicles that we had. We've added a second lane to our main entrance, so that way there's an easy passable access and egress there. The announcer stand, the VIP area that's only announcer stand, we've added that. We will continue to do other things that comes to our mind as we go to these things, but we're trying to get it a little bit different and solidify some of the areas. The vendor area will have water now.
Yep.
Versus me having to run a water hose from my house out there to them. But we're trying to supply the needs of the vendors as well to keep the vendors happy. We may move our stage area to a different location just so that way we can have a better viewing audience for the audience and do some things down that line.
Yeah, and we've got some surprises that are going to be coming up in our race in 2025. We're not going to let those out. It's kind of like the election. You don't know what that is until it's over and done with, right? So more to come. But it's going to be exciting times. We move into 2025 at Whiskey Ridge.
Cool.
Elon Musk is working with us to make sure that we eliminate all the bad things.
So let me ask you, for the past couple of years, y'all had the relay race, which has been a huge hit. And then, of course, the incident that happened last year. Do you plan to do that again this year?
The relay race is part of it. And let me just go back to why it's called Whiskey Ridge out here. It's because of the bull that we had when my kids were little that was named Whiskey, and he would sit out there on top of that ridge, and that's how it got called Whiskey Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, other people think it's called that because of some of the festivities that go on, which if that's their way to go with it, that's fine too. We're good with that. But Whiskey was a bull that you couldn't stop anywhere.
Okay.
He was a big red brown bull.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. So we see where we're going kind of next year. We got some surprises coming, but where do you see in general this event being 10, 15 years in the future?
Oh shit, we'll be in our 60s and 70s then.
And we're still going to be going. And you know what? It's going to be bigger and better then.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. Time tells all stories, right? And do we want to continue to improve? Absolutely. Again, talking about the county that we live in, there's not much really going on here. And it's really cool because it gives them a sense of pride that we continue to do this. We're involved with the FFA, we're involved with the 4-H. Just for example, like during the county fair, they have the horse show out here because of the arena that's in Malvern. They just don't do it there anymore. So we offer that up. But yeah, so back to the question, long story short, 10 to 15 years, figure we'll just keep on doing it and continue to improve, take the suggestions of people, see the needs of people, and try to make those happen.
I mean,
And
my
still
dad's
have the
75, so
He's still young.
He's in a lot
he's still
better shape
going.
than most of us sitting at
Yeah.
this table.
Let's see, in 15 years, I'll be 69, and Carl will be 73.
I'll be 59. She's just making it up again.
He's older.
Short of
He's
Justin,
older.
I'll be the youngest one still around. I might have a motorized cart that I'm having to ride on because
Yeah,
I
we'll
can't
be-
walk or something. But,
We'll be using different wagons at that time.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Todd just wants to be a Harold Bond.
That's right.
And let me also throw this in, Michaela Schultz, which is married to Ethan, which is Carl's son. So therefore my nephew. She is the one, she and Jana Sumler, as well as Mackenzie Cliff, which is Michaela's sister. They are the ones that have put on the opening ceremony as far as the flag girls go each year. All those people volunteer. So we never know how many we're going to have. I'm like, okay, how many shirts do we need? How many flags do we need? And somehow or another, we've been fortunate enough to always have those sponsors to do those flags for however many girls they decide is going to be in it that year.
Wow.
And that list keeps growing because the sponsors continue to want to sponsor more
Yes.
because of the success they hear about this event.
Yeah, I do think that's kind of a unique thing that you guys do at that event too, is that you have those sponsor flags riding out on horseback, right? And that's not something that I typically see at many events. You'll see signs up, you'll have your plugs from the announcer and stuff like that. But that is a cool part of you guys' opening ceremony, is that you make sure and you nod to those people that make the event possible. So I think that's pretty cool. I also go ahead.
One of the surprises this year is probably going to be my granddaughter carrying a flag on her great big pony
Heck yeah.
named
That's
Colin.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how that's how you keep on pushing this thing down through the next generation. You get those guys involved in any way possible, and pretty soon they come up through that whole thing, and then you can just grow old and watch it grow and flourish while you sit back and just run the liquor store for a while there, Carl, or do change trash bags, whatever you need
go
to
to
do.
that liquor store.
I was there every time he showed up.
Because we just opened.
Hey, as far as I know, he ran it the whole
ain't over
weekend.
there. Do not let him fool you like that.
Carl, I think you did a good job. I think it's awesome what you've done there at the liquor store, and really proud of you.
Thank
buddy.
you, David. I
You're
really
kidding
appreciate
me.
that. At least you recognize that.
So you guys, you've really kind of developed a heck of a venue over there. You've got a great racetrack, and like you said, whatever. I was not there before you made that move, but the way the ridge is set up to where it creates like a natural, like a stands, pretty much for your spectators. I love that. I think that's an amazing thing that you really can't, money can't really buy that with a whole lot of money can, but the way you guys have that set up is pretty awesome. I love that you've got this, that you do have the stage, you have the spectator in mind. You've got, your concert's not far away, your camping's not far away. You're a stone's throw away from your arena, which you guys have. Gosh, you must have the biggest arena, and it's covered out of any other Chuckwagon race event. Am I leaving something out?
Mm-mm.
What you're leaving out is that when Carl and I built that arena, we just wanted an arena. but we didn't know it was going to be that
Right.
big until it was built.
And we
then
met the gentleman that built it at the
at
Clinton
Clinton.
Chuckwagon races
Yeah.
and talked him into building us one so we could ride on a Sunday afternoon in the rain.
We sure did. And then,
Yeah.
like, was it 2 or 3 years ago when that ice storm came in?
It's 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah. And it took the back half off. So they said it was like the weight of 2 tractor trailers. Had a few cows caught underneath there, but we have some good Hispanic friends who came and
Cut them out.
Wow.
cut them out.
wow.
Took the meat. But anyways, so we have the cool grandstand kind of thing there, the announcer stand area. And, so we do some events over there. The Kool-Aid Barrel Race has come out to be pretty much fun. With that you just run in with whatever you want to run in with.
Brung what you brung, right?
That's 1836.
Oh,
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, we've had Jeeps in there. We've had wagons in there.
Bathtubs.
Surfboards in there. Motorcycles, bathtubs.
Most of those bad habits come from a guy that's a bartender named Clay Robinson.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody knows him or not.
But then also, we have our rough stock, which is the Bronx and the Bulls. And Matt Smith works with Rough Stock Unlimited, and he always does a great job. We're like, make it easy, and they come in and do it. And then you throw Jacob Jackson in the mix on the freestyle bullfighting, which is my favorite event of everything. And that's where he's actually out on tour right now, I think, fighting bulls and stuff. And I think that's the most exciting. Then Dante Reed, he was the one who got hurt last year
Yeah.
here and had to get flighted out, which he's now back to doing relay races. He's got the arena rented next weekend, I think it is.
Wow.
And he's the one who's in charge of that. So yeah, a lot of people involved in the mix for sure.
and a
That's
lot of
cool.
them are out of our community.
Yeah.
as
And Adam
well.
Newcomb, he comes over on Tuesdays and does the team roping stuff. So yeah, it takes a lot.
Yeah, no, you guys have a heck of a team, and you've really just kind of built up a thing. I mean, the snowball is getting bigger and bigger, it looks like, and you guys are rolling. And we've got the CWC awards coming up, and so I won't be surprised if I see a couple of nominations pop up there because you guys are doing a great job. You've got a great venue. It's really fantastic. And while I'm talking about it, I want to throw these award categories out there: Best Spill of the Year, Entertainer of the Year, Venue of the Year, Interview of the Year. Cindy, one of your interviews could get Interview of the Year, but it might also get the Biggest Laugh of the Year, which is another category. Heartwarming Moment of the Year, the 2024's Most Improved, and the final one would be the Youth Award. So we've got those categories. Those are up and ready to go on the form. We've got that form already published on the Facebook page, so you can go over there and you can fill that form out, nominate who you want for those different categories. And we'll also have that down in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it, whether it's on the Chuckwagon channel or on the YouTube page there. You will see that link so that you can go and fill out your nominations. We'll be taking those all the way up until we do our Christmas show on the 19th with Dapple over in Clinton. Make sure that you guys check that out because it's going to be, the CWC Awards, I think, are going to be a fun thing. So, last but not least, I want to give you guys the floor to tell us the dates that we need to be marking down on our calendar and what you've got in store for everybody in 2025.
Oh, we're going to shut down.
The May 21st through 25th. Gates will probably open around 10 or noon, something like that.
And be open before that for everybody that shows up early because that's what we always have to do.
I mean, I'm not sure why there's a time because they just show up, but it's fine. It's fun. We're not taking any house reservations for that week at our homes, at our private homes.
Well,
Unless you just don't have a place to stay.
And then it'll be fine.
well, that's
Better watch what
and
you
and
say.
so is it Wednesday or Tuesday that you'll open the gates?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So Tuesday, May 20th, the gates will open.
Oh, yeah.
And
thanks.
then that'll run through, looks like Friday as the 23rd races start for Chuckwagon on Saturday the 24th, go through 25th. that Sunday, and then everybody goes home on Memorial Day, the
Correct.
26th.
Yeah. So I'll mention this now that you said that. I just thought about it. There are a lot of people that were talking about racing on Friday. And so what we might do, don't know yet, but what we might do is just do like a fun race on Friday for those that want to come in based on the division. I mean, the racetrack will be open. It'll be set up, right?
What she's suggesting is those that are going to rookie in at Clinton this next year and win Clinton should probably be here to do that.
I'm going to be racing.
Like me.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be the annual Carl Schultz entry level run what you brung race.
Yeah,
Entry
it's
level.
going to be real entry level too.
No, that was something that some people had talked about last year, and I'm like, shoot, whatever. It's it's set up. Let's do it. But those are the people like Blake Wiles, and you know how crazy that is. And then you got the Chad Daniels that rolls in there out of nowhere. So, anyways, we can throw a bunch of names out there, but we'll just let that go. But that might be a possibility. We just got to fill it out. We'll do again the 4 at Big Mules. So the mules have to be 54 plus, not the normal 52. There was a lot of fun with that last year. I think there were some great pictures that were taken from that. And then, we may have a few new events. I don't know, like chicken drop or some goat chasing, or I don't know. We'll see what happens.
More to come, right?
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, though, I just want to say a huge thank you to all the racers that come to this race and support us. We couldn't have a race without racers, and that's what it's about, next to the community, which helps support the community and run through and give the kids a place to go, that they're not running up and down the street. They're not out doing drugs, that there's somewhere that you can have good, wholesome family fun again. And it's right here at Whiskey Ridge Ranch. So,
yeah, there's no doubt about it. You guys are providing something that is definitely family friendly, just like all these races really are. And I think it's a great thing to get out of the house, get your kids out, go do something that's outdoors, rain, snow, or shine. Who cares? Get them out of the house. Bring all that stuff, bring the cooler, have a good time, set up on the ridge, watch the races. You guys have one of the best, and I just really appreciate what you do, and I appreciate the purpose that you have behind your event and the hearts that you guys have. You guys have giving hearts, and it really shows every time. Both of the times I've been down there, it's been really cool to see just how much things that are at the top trickle down, and everybody there is giving, everybody there is involved, everybody there is having the time of their lives. And that's why I think it grows every single year. So kudos to you guys and what you're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of segue out here. But next week, we're going to have Gerald and Nova Burkhalter on the show. They have the B&B Farms races in Bryant, Indiana. It's an outlaw race. It's a smaller race, but it's a really good time. Do you guys have anything I should say to them? Any crap you want to say to them, Cindy, before I bring Nova and Gerald on here?
Okay, you're back.
Oh.
I was just saying, Cindy, I'm going to have the Burkhalters on here next week. Is there any shit talking you want to do before I get them on the show?
Heck
Shit
no.
talking.
I'm going to tell you what, there's some great people. And I know Nova got hurt last year at their race. We saw Mr. Burkhalter at, what's the name of that place in Clinton that you're going to be at with Dapple?
That's at Hogs and Heifers. Thank you for
Hogs and Heifers.
letting our
That's
viewers
one of
know.
my favorite places in Clinton.
Yeah. So we saw him down there, and I mean, just good people. We met them probably the first year Todd and I started Chuckwagon racing at Loretta Lynn's, and never been anything but kind. So no, there's no shit talking there. B&B.
Oh,
Actually,
Cindy, come on. Tell them how you really feel.
No. So, when you go back to Clinton, right? So they actually had the fastest time. I think that they didn't have an outrider on Saturday.
On Buckboard.
So therefore, it wasn't within that 1 second. Whereas, Jana and I, because I scooted my butt up in that wagon on Friday when I thought it was time to go and made the ponies jump the line. But actually,
Brad House won that race.
Whatever. But anyways, no, I mean, they always have good stock. They're always very kind. And I would love to go to Indiana someday. I think sometimes it sort of mixes in with what our association race schedule is. And so, you can only go to so many, and you don't want to be gone for however many days every weekend. And they're maybe 7 hours away from us.
Quite a long way.
They're a stretch away from us.
But,
is the only reason we haven't gone. But one year,
you got to give it to them. Those guys show up in races. They drive the furthest in most every race you go to.
Yeah.
When you find out that B&B's there, I mean, they put the money in, they put the time in, and more importantly, they're out supporting. So.
Well, let's not forget about how far the Trump train carries themselves through.
Yeah.
The Trump train.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. They travel well. And we had their outrider who's from up in Maryland. We had him on several weeks back, and
Mason's a good guy.
Yeah.
man, he is he's the best of the best, and he really is. He goes hard. He travels a long way. Congratulations to him on getting married this year down there at Loretta Lynn's.
He married a Schultz.
Oh my god!
He did marry a Schultz. We're not related to her, but he did marry a Schultz, and it's spelled the exact same.
Oh wow!
He's got good taste.
Hard to believe there are more of you out there, but that's pretty awesome. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this thing. Thank you so much for being on the show today. For our listeners, don't forget to subscribe, relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com. Have a wonderful weekend. As always, thank you for supporting what we do, and we will see you out on the track.
Thank
Happy
you,
holidays.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.